So I strongly, they say that you have to believe in miracles. And they wanted a romantic hero for a film which they started. And then my neighbor recommended me. So I saw the resume. I liked about the resume. That became my calling. One became two, two became three, three became four, and I started recruiting people. I started enjoying it because this to a doctor. A patient goes to a doctor because he knows that he's going to give him his life. Same like that. And today I've closed close to 8,000 plus folks, covering China, covering Japan, covering Middle East, covering Europe, covering US, covering UK, covering ANZ, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia. I continue in a career of 20 plus years. All the unknown people. We have to build trust. We have to learn everything coming down. It's like this, right? When you go to the top of Burj Khalifa, you stand on the 125th floor and look at the ground. You say everything is beautiful. He saw the way I was conversing, he liked it, the doubts. Then he went and looked at me, listen, can we do a podcast? So that happened in the year 1990. That is when I realized opportunity is something we need to put. And companies are also, our company and all the companies, most of the companies are now decided not to give 50% what I have done in the last 20 plus years. World needs to. And then I also met Irfan Pathan. So what did I learn from Irfan Pathan? I was in Dubai, I was traveling. I bumped into him. He came with his family. So then I realized leadership is not about what you see on top. You have to be down. Rajinikanth is a disciple because he does things differently. The crowd goes. If you want to stand out, you have to be there and you have to create impact every day. Questioning ability and storytelling. As long as you are a good storyteller, whether you are a fresher or an experienced person, you will always stand out. I would say there are three sets of people. First set of people are called fools.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Culture Beat by Incredible Workplaces. Today, we have Rajesh with us, who is the global talent partner of Diligent. So, welcome, Rajesh, to the show.
My pleasure, Govind. It's nice to be here, and finally we get to have a conversation.
It's
I
gonna
think
be
I've been really been looking forward for this, and I've been sincerely following you for the last last 4 5 months, and you are doing a tremendous job. Yesterday's event was superb.
Thank you very much, and thank you being a well-wisher of Incredible Workplaces. And Rajesh, I know that one of the interesting part of your whole life journey so far is about those four accidents that you had in your life. So I think it's a great one to start with this one. So tell us about those accidents.
So they say that you have to believe in miracles. So as a first standard kid, I was highly hyper.
Uh-huh.
I was in a place called IIT where my father was working, and then one fine Saturday afternoon we were playing hide and seek.
Okay.
The friends were chasing me, and it so happened that for me to escape from my friends, I jumped out of the third floor balcony. My head hit the third sunshade, then the second sunshade. There was a cycle below, and I don't know why that cycle was kept there in the first place. It had a sponge there, and that my head hit that sponge, and then I fell on the floor. Floor was full of cement. So if cycle was not there, I would have been a goner then. And then I understood later, whenever I pass IIT or when I go for any HR events, I realized that did I fall from there? First thing I question myself. Second, this thing is then I say, okay, miracles do happen. So that is what happened the first time. So that was my first accident.
Okay.
The second one was I was playing in my flats, like any other kid. And I finished my 10th standard, and everybody said they always say that you have all the looks and you should try in films and modeling and all that. I didn't take it seriously. So my neighbor was a very famous actor.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a couple of people who came and approached him, and they wanted a romantic hero for a film which they are starting.
Mm-hmm.
And then my neighbor recommended me. His name is Ramesh Arvind. He's very popular now in Bangalore. He's a big star there. So they came, they did the screen test. I went through the entire process. They asked me to cry, laugh, and all. Whatever I knew, I did that. There was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was no guidance. I was a novice. I didn't know anything about. And I'm typical middle class, you finish your schooling, you finish your degree, you go for your job. And there was no entrepreneurship and all these things at that point of time. The world was very limited. So my confines was only to the flat and the people there. So I finished the screen test, and that evening I got selected. He said, you have been announced as a hero.
Wow.
Then I came with a lot of euphoria. You can cloud 9, cloud 10, whatever. I came and I shared the entire thing to the entire community, and I started distributing sweets. So gradually things started going, and they were doing other selections, heroine and all these stuff, right? So that took about 30-45 days. And I also got typhoid in between. So as it is, I was very thin, and then I lost some more weight. It was all for good. So I was thinking that, I'm going to get into the fame or whatever you call it. And then I was excited. 1 week before that, the director calls and says that I would like to meet you in the office. Then I go there and I wait there, and I see a man coming right opposite to me, wearing white and white, lean, fair chap. And that guy is called Ajit. That was my first time. I didn't get introduced. He just walked past with the cover. Then I had a feeling that probably something is going on. Then the director calls me and said, "You've been replaced, and you will be playing the second fiddle or the third fiddle." So from second fiddle, I went to third fiddle. I went to fourth fiddle. Then my scenes were chopped off. I spent almost 35 days in shooting. The good thing was I admired the person called Ajit there. He had phenomenal self belief then. That's why they say, right, you have to have other skills to survive. Talent alone will not help. So that is
Very
when I
true.
realized self belief is important, guts is important. You have to go and experience the world. So he had everything because he only finished his 10th and he ventured into business. So he had a lot of those skills he was able to bring in. He was not a great actor, he was not a great dancer, but he was supremely self confident. He used to do bike stunts then itself. So his passion was there. So I spent good 35 days. We had a lot of fights. We stayed in the same hotel. I was a 15-year, 16-year, I was very, very naive. I didn't know anything. That accident was accident. So I went into a lot of depression when they changed the role. When I went into second and third. Because a lot of people said, you are a hero, now you become a zero. I faced a lot of insults. So almost 7-8 months I was not able to come to terms because it's a big thing, and we don't know what to do. And luckily, with the few well wishers and people, they said you have to finish your degree. So I went and did my BCom.
Okay.
With a lot of difficulties, I finished my BCom degree, and they said if you don't have a degree, you won't get a job. That's how the mindset is. Then I finished that, and then I got into the corporate. I went as an assistant in a company called DSQ Software or Squiddy, which was in the top 3 companies there. And the boss over there said, just look at this paper. I saw the paper, and I found this to be resume, and that was another accident. So I saw the resume. I liked about the resume. That became my calling. 1 became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and I started recruiting people. I started enjoying it because they say that I always relate to this to a doctor. A patient goes to a doctor because he knows that he's going to give him his life. Same like that. Whenever I get a job for somebody, I get a kick out of that because I'm giving life for somebody. I'm an enabler. You have HR, you have everybody there, but you need people inside. Otherwise, nothing happens in the company. So you are going to be there. So I stuck to the same, job role. The last 20 plus years, I evolved with technology, and today I've closed close to 8,000 plus folks, covering China, covering Japan, covering Middle East, covering Europe, covering US, covering UK, covering ANZ, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines. I continue with the same passion, same vigor. When I get a job for somebody, that's the highest kick I get. They come with a smiling face and say, I found a job. And it goes, spreads across to people. So I don't really worry about the appraisals or the designations and all. For me, I'm giving a life to somebody. So that passion still keeps going in me. That's how, all these things comes, you network with people, you meet people, you're trying to understand their mindset. So for me to reach out to 8,000 plus folks, I would have roughly spoken to about close to 2.5 lakh people in a career of 20 plus years. All the unknown people. We have to build trust. We have to learn everything coming down. It's like this, right? When you go to the top of Burj Khalifa, you stand on the 125th floor and look at the ground. You'll say everything is beautiful. But only when you come to the ground, you will realize what is real, what is not. That is what I learned. So, a lot of lessons I learned. There were a lot of challenges. There were a lot of backouts. And, you basically try and value time. You value the employees and prospects' time. You value the customers' time. And eventually, it led to closure. So I did a lot of branding. One everything I learned on the job. There was no school where it says you have to do branding, you have to do this. Today we have for everything there's a term.
Correct.
But everything I did as a part of my dirting my hands. I didn't go to any school. I didn't do further studies. So they say, right, your leader, what he studies, he should not do that. That is exactly what I'm doing. I did BCom and I'm married. There's no connection, and I'm very happy.
And I would say that all those accidents, and the way I look at it is that have really shaped you as a person.
Yeah, and fourth accident was modeling. After acting, just to get that confidence, people said you should try modeling. It's only 1 day, 2 day show. So I did a lot of ads. I did about 15, 16 ads. And the fifth
You
one
still
was...
do that modeling?
no, I don't do that anymore. Fifth one was podcast.
Okay.
Recently that accident happened.
Okay.
About 5 months back, one gentleman saw me in an event. He saw the way I was conversing. He liked it, the doubts and all. Then he went and looked at my LinkedIn profile. Can we do a podcast? I said, why not? Are you ready? I asked. He said, yes. And I was ready. That's when my podcast started. And I almost finished 15th. And today we're doing the 16th.
So that's your fifth accident.
Fifth accident.
And every accident is basically, as I said, shaped you as a person. And there is always a new learning out there. And I think you found opportunities in those challenging situations that you explained in the past as well.
Yeah, and later on when that evolved, I saw one of the movies of Rajinikanth.
Mm-hmm.
The man goes to meet Ramya Krishnan. She's an actor, and that's before the climax. And she walks down the stairs, and he goes there. This I relate to even every student when I go for talks to colleges. And he doesn't have anything to sit. She puts a chair and she's sitting because he's coming there. So this man takes a shovel, he puts it on his unjal, and he brings it down. He pulls it. So that happened in the year 1999. That is when I realized opportunity is something you need to pull.
Correct.
If you do not pull, somebody else will come and pull.
Absolutely. So and as you are into the hiring and you hired 8,000 plus folks so far, one of the questions that always comes to my mind, Rajesh, is that as the world is evolving, the way candidates looks at organizations also evolving. What do you think? Because you're also in leadership hiring, right? Do you see people giving more weightage to the amount of increment they get, which is basically the money portion of it, or they are giving weightage to the workplace culture as well nowadays? What is your?
So I will always put it in two eras because I was a part of both, pre-COVID and post. Pre-COVID era was the era where people were asking lots of hikes, and then they had the traditional thing like 50%, 60%. They were not worried about the company and all. Post-COVID, I think a lot of emotional stuff came in because people were falling sick. There was a lot of insecurity, and in India as a culture is bread and buttered with the word insecurity. If you do not have a job, what next? If you fail in something, what next?
Correct.
We are cultured like that. It's not the case with other countries. So that is something which was very prominent. And post-COVID, at some point of time, the employers started asking more hikes, but then the trend shifted towards employee. Employers, it shifted from employee, it shifted to employer. Now there is a sense of thing where they want to look for a long term. They are not looking for major hikes. And companies are also, our company and all the companies, most of the companies have now decided not to give 50%, 60% hike because it's realistic, not possible. And they don't get the budget as long as you have the eligibility. So when I talk to any candidate, be it leadership or mid-level, as what is in it, you have special compared to others, company has to pay you 50%. And most of the answers will be, they will not answer the prerequisite. So they don't qualify for that. So unless you qualify for it, do not set an expectation. So when somebody comes for an interview, I'll ask them to remove that expectation. I'll say, keep it open. Your skills, maybe you might be good because your food will always taste good for you. But it has to be tasting good for the other person who's interviewing you. Perception will vary. Come for the interview, get interview cracked, showcase your skill. Let them decide. Are you good in critical thinking? Are you good with managing people? Are you good with decision making? Are you good with negotiation? I'll give scenarios to them. I'll find out how serious they are. Then I'll ask, what if your company is retaining? 99% of the guys who say that they've been retained by the company will never be successful in that particular company. That is the data which has come out. So better do not go back to the same company. Stick to your decision. You see all the famous people, right? The Tatas, the Birlas, anybody you take, the famous people, they always stick to the decision. They don't go back on the decision. So I always tell somebody, when you're hiring, when you're taking something, you're spreading a word to the ecosystem. You make sure you stick to your decision. If you do not stick to your decision, the poison will spread to everybody. And we are not here to shop. So if somebody comes, I'll ask them, how many letters you have in your showcase? And this is what he'll say, I have 20 offers. Then why are you shopping for the 21st? What difference is it going to make? He'll give some reason. I said, you don't waste my time. I value your time. You value my time. I don't know whether you're white, black, anything because you're on the other side. I'm only trusting you. We are only going by the time. My time now is valuable for you. My time is valuable for my customer and my company. So if you value time, let's get into a conversation. If you're having anything straightforward, you tell me, because I'm not here for shopping around, and we don't hire people who. So my communication per se, whenever I do this thing, is always with the areas which will emphasize on the importance of value, vision, companies long term. So I also will attune them towards that. If somebody is only going to shop around, they are not serious about the company, they're only asking, what I can expect, whether this will be hybrid, all those things they will ask. So which means they are just shopping around.
But Rajesh, do you think that after the COVID, as you said, pre-COVID, post-COVID, do you think after the COVID, people have started giving more importance to culture as opposed to money, or you see
There has
that
been a
still?
huge trend. Culture, vision, they want to learn a lot of things. So they are all becoming learners now. Earlier it used to be, more like what comes credits in my bank account. The paper was strong.
Correct.
Nowadays it's becoming a lot of learning. I can see a lot of positive learning coming in. The mental aspects are playing a very crucial role. They know that they need work-life balance. They cannot go on. And companies also realize, for example, if you see the industry attrition, I think it stands at around 26-27% today, but in diligent it's less than 6%.
Wow.
Why? Because they don't micromanage people. They let them be there. And somebody who joins a company, he stays there for a very long time. No questions asked. So those are the things they will ask. And then hybrid, of course, because that is something which has now come up. People are calling to companies. Now they have moved everybody to come to companies, but there are still companies where they practice hybrid. So they generally ask whether there is hybrid or whether there is remote. We still offer remote roles. It's not like only hybrid. We say you can work from the place where you are as long as you are comfortable in traveling. But we cannot pay you that because we are not in that league and we are not here to compete.
Correct.
So if you are if PwC or other companies are giving you good salary, you can go and be a part of the crowd. But if you want to learn something and build yourself for the tomorrow, you can come and be with Diligent.
And that is why I think the Diligent is also an incredible workplace certified organization.
Second time we got certified.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And Rajesh, one thing that I love about you is that not only that you are as a HR professional trying to do a lot of stuff good from HR perspective, but you also focus a lot on your own personal branding, right? And you said it so well. If you will not take the opportunity, somebody else will. Yes. So you have to be always a first mover. And a lot of HR people who are also watching this video at this point in time want to do or even don't know whether personal branding is something that they should go for. Or if they want to do that, they don't know how to do it. And you are the one who did it so fantastically well. Would you share your journey with the HR, those wanted to be investing in the personal branding? How should they do it?
See, I think today it's no more resume. It's your brand which matters. What you make noise outside is what people are going to see. And if you're going to make repeated noise, that's when people will remember you. Because today, you see, earlier, 15 years back, you had 100 decisions a person thinks about. Today, it's jumped to 3,000 decisions in a span of 15 years. Look at the transition. Wow. Human mind is got a lot of distractions today. How do you stand out? Where do you stand out? So what I did was in the month of August 2025, I went, before going for the event, I think something triggered within me that I have to pivot. So then that's when I thought that, okay, I will start using LinkedIn, not for putting job posting and this thing. I will start putting my stories. What I have done in the last 20 plus years, world needs to know. Like, for example, I shifted from career of films to HR. My mindset shifted. What I went through as a person, what needs to be told. And wherever I meet personalities, I gather something. So some learning. For example, I met Arvind Swami. So we spoke about psychology of money. We spoke about HR. Outside all the film thing, I spent 15 minutes with him. So he spoke about leadership. He spoke about not doing hero worship. Just do your job. You are good at your work. He's good at something. So it's all about confidence. So what I didn't have, he had. So I imbibed those things and I projected that story to the LinkedIn crowd. So from 10,000 connections, I hit. Today I'm close to 18,000, I would say. Wonderful. Purely because of the stories, authentic stories I put. Wherever I get inspired, I keep consistently doing it. And I have every day some content coming. Either it will be an event content or it will be a content where out of my own personal thought process. Like, for example, I would say that, whenever I go to PVR, I see that entry, it's a mass entry. You have all those golden lights that you are welcomed beautifully. Correct. But when the movie finishes, when you go out, your exit is always very shady. Either it's violet color or green color. It doesn't give that feel. You have to have the same feel. Correct. So I related that with employees. When your employee is coming in, you give a lot of, he comes and he posts joining kit, he posts all that. But when he exits out, say after 3 months or say after 6 months, it could be various reasons. There's always a toxic end to him. He goes and spreads the word. Why should that happen? We as a HR should change. That should be also a relationship because we are in the ecosystem. So this is also branding. It's not only bringing in somebody. It's also when somebody exits, he goes out there. So such kind of stories and that became very viral, that particular post. And similar to that, as I said, right, psychology of money I had with Arvind Swami. That episode I had shared. That also became interesting. And then I also met Irfan Pathan. So what did I learn from Irfan Pathan? I was in Dubai. I was traveling there. I bumped into Irfan Pathan. He came with his family. So I asked him 4 instances. That is what I wanted to know, how he felt. One was when India won the 2007 T20 World Cup. He was a part of it. Next was when India won a Perth Test. He was a part of it. Third is he first toured Australia. And then there were a couple of other tests he won when he went to Pakistan. So every instances, and I asked him, he patiently stood for 15 minutes, he spent time, and he explained with all humility what are the things he learned, what are the things Dhoni taught him. Dhoni gave him a lot of freedom. But later when Chappell came and took over, his bowling, he used to bowl fast.
Yeah.
And he was asked to bowl slow. All these things he did because he listened to somebody. He didn't believe in himself, which he had earlier. Dhoni gave him all those liberties, which was not there. So that is why there was a transition, there was a challenge. So all those moments, he said, I gave 100%. So whatever I did, I gave 200% to my various things. That is why he was able to see success. So that learning I had. Then I went to Burj Khalifa. That was an experience. I traveled 125 floors.
Correct.
Within a minute, it was there. So then I realized leadership is not about what you see on top. You have to be down.
Correct.
If you're a father, when you're marrying your child, you have to bend down. If your child has to study, you have to bend down. If your team is having a problem, you need to come and dirty your hands. Then only the world will listen.
Correct.
So these are all the lessons I keep learning, and I keep putting it there. So it's like I become a lifelong learner myself when I share this experience. So first I should be a learner. So then only I can evolve. Be it AI, be it anything happens. So that was constantly going on. The trigger happened. And then every day I started posting. Then by posting became stories. Stories became HR events. HR events became podcast. And then, the trend is continuing till today and it's growing. So everybody has to, whoever is listening to this podcast, if they are not going to invest their time online, if they're not going to put content through voice or some form, or if they're not expanding their skills, they will be left out. Sorry to say, communication is very important. It is not the language. Again, I will say English is only a language. They can communicate in Hindi, they can communicate in Tamil. As long as they can communicate and it can hit the next man. I would say there are 3 sets of people. First set of people are called fools. Or you can call them neighbors or spectators. What they will do, they'll keep watching. If you are successful, they'll clap. You go down, they will talk at you. Right? All the tools will be available, yet they will keep stalking. That's why they are called biggest fools. Second set of people are called followers. You can call them even influencers. The boss says jump into the well, they will jump. The boss says go there, they will go. The boss says go fight, so they will do what is being told. They also tend to be followers. Influencers on Insta and all that stuff. The third set of people are called leaders. What others see, what others don't see, they see. What they see, others don't see. That is what is leaders. So if you want to be, in any of the categories, you have to choose whether you want to be a fool, whether you want to be an influencer, or whether you want to be a leader.
Yeah.
The choice is yours.
Yeah.
Or you can call them as disruptors or impact. You have the Dhonis, you have Sachin, you have, the Obama. You can call, A.R. Rahman. Everybody is a disruptor.
Correct.
Rajinikanth is a disruptor.
Correct.
Because he does things differently. The crowd goes behind him.
Correct.
If you want to stand out, you have to be there and you have to create impact every day. So you have to keep questioning what next. Then only you can reach that part. Every day you have to put content. Every day, whatever content you put has to excite them. You have to question whether this will be interesting for the person who
for the audience that are listening.
Whether it's making any difference. As long as you do that, and every day, like you know the word term genius, right? Focus on one thing, digress 99%. Plus daily improvement. Okay, so today you did a reading, you go share it with people, you communicate, you do a video, you do something. So I can see a genius in front of me who keeps doing various things, events. Yesterday you went to event. So you network with people. So you're learning constantly. That is daily improvement. then value time.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot become a Obama on one day. You can only become a pudding.
Correct.
You cannot become A.R. Rahman on one day. Daily practice.
You can always
So,
become fooding.
focus plus daily practice plus value time equals genius. So when I started doing this daily practice, it took 6 months.
Mm.
So I'm still doing work in progress. I'm still learning, and this formula, what I'm saying now, every successful people follow this. This is not a secret thing. This is on open.
Mm.
Everybody has to practice this, so they'll also become a genius.
Great thoughts on the personal branding side, and you explained how to leverage social media, especially LinkedIn, and also other form of digital marketing. But I have also seen you in many events that where you participate, where other HR leaders are coming, interacting with them. Of course, it is good for learning purposes, but it also gives you a visibility. What would you say on those events where you are majorly going for networking, but there's an element of relationship building out there? Like you build relationship with many prominent people that you spoke about, and they sharing stuff. What do you say about that? Should people go for to events for networking only, or should be beyond that?
I'll give a, I'll relate this to a word called luck.
Luck.
There's nothing called luck for people who truly deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Truly deserve it. The most hardworking people are the luckiest for me, because they go take maximum opportunities, maximum risk. Somebody is sitting in a room and he tries for a job and he says, I'm not getting a job and I'm not lucky. Luck will never come to him because he's never moving. The moment you start moving, your static will not progress you back. It will progress you backward. Only the movement will progress you forward. The more and more you move, the more and more chances you get. The more and more you move, people will have opinions. People will have, what is your focus? You're going for an event, try to focus on what net worth in that event is. It's not about net worth. I can collect even 100 cards. But ultimately, when my sweeper is sweeping the floor, the cards will be there or it will be in the what do you call almari. It's not going to make any difference. So am I doing net worth? For example, when I go to any event, from there the podcast was born. So that was my net worth.
Very nice.
So when I go to another event, that is when I met Govind Negi. That is my net worth. So what you carry forward. So next event, are you going to be a speaker? Are you going to contribute? Everywhere you should always look at contributing. For example, I went for an event called Changemaker. There I met Sujit. Sujit is a person who's VP of Infosys. He's a good friend of mine. One of the very interesting incidents happened there that I was literally in tears. So he mentions about something called as a change agent. You need not be a person who gives money, but you can always be a part of giving. So the watchman, what he does was he sees a lady who's standing in front of a college along with a kid, and he took a photograph of that and he gave it to Sujit. That one particular photograph changed the entire destiny of that lady, because a lady's aspiration was for her to become a teacher. And she was standing in front of that college for the last 2 years to get into the college for a teaching job. And the kid which was sitting next to her was studying because there was no current in her home. But when we look at the picture, it was looking like the lady was begging. But she was not. She had resumes with her, as well as she was into some crafting and all. So she was selling that. And every day her dream was to come there and sit there. So 2 years passed by. So this photograph lands in Sujit's thing through that watchman of Infosys, and just see the turnaround. 2 years after, she stands in front of Mahindra World City, a photograph, Sujit at the backside, and she's been employed there.
Wow.
So the entire process was when she went for the interview, she was interviewed by 4 people. She got through the interview, she answered everything. Because her aspiration was to become a teacher. The only thing was she did not have English, and they said English is mandatory. She said, sir, English is only a language. I'll learn it in 6 months. Everybody, moment she said that, stood up and clapped. And they offered her. And cut that, the picture which comes. And the same picture with the tweet has been given by Anand Mahindra. About this lady. And she doesn't know who's Anand Mahindra. Sir, who's Anand? Sir? He tweeted about me. The best part is, when you have the focus and when you have determination, just imagine the lady who was standing outside the college is MCC college, where she wanted to get to there as a job. Next, after 2 years, she goes there as a speaker to that college, invited as chief guest. Just see the turnaround.
Incredible story, I must say. And I think the one thing that you said about in the events is that you just don't go there for collecting cards. Is the the net worth that you basically
I mean,
brings out of
it's
it.
it's very sad to see people are killing time there.
Mm.
I find so many people, their energy is getting wasted on things which are very trivial. I mean, I don't know whether what they are going to get value out of it, but I honestly will not do that. It will be killing me. So every event I go, I'll go with the mind that how am I making any difference to one person? So somebody will come and say, "Sir, your content is fabulous. You are the only person. Everybody runs on one direction, but you're the only person who's going on the opposite. Every content is different. You should continue that." Another person asks, "How do you manage work and all that?" I said, "A successful person has 24 hours. I also have 24 hours. I get content, I get it at 6 in the morning. I keep it ready. And then I immediately do it with the flow. I don't spend more than 10 minutes on content. I put it and I move on to the next thing. But important is, I want to convey something to the society. It's very, very important. And I think that is something which people have to do whenever they go for event. They have to manage, work with people, identify which are the things. That intelligence they should have. I had it very early, that smartness. So I will know whom to, go network and how to create an impact. So that is something I consciously do, and I would like to, continue that with a lot of passion and energy. I love that. So the second thing is that is my ikigai. You need to find your own ikigai. What you love doing, eventually it will become you. Like they say, right? What you consume consumes you. What you consume consumes you.
Correct.
What consumes you controls you, and what controls you, it controls your life. So whether you consume good, or whether you consume bad. So that is.
No, I think that's a very valid point. And I would say that with the whole life journey that I see from you as a kid to going to film industry, and then going through a tough phase, and then becoming an HR. And there also, I think you're doing a great job. People know you. Your whole ecosystem or your own self branding is really, really powerful. What will be your advice that you want to give to the young HR leaders right now who are aspiring to be there where you are? What will be your advice to
I
them?
think they have to have a lot of curiosity. They should have the ability to question themselves, because the biggest skill which is required is questioning ability and storytelling. As long as you are a good storyteller, whether you are a fresher or an experienced person, you will always stand out. Your story can be short, can be somebody whom you met on the road. It's making a difference, maybe on the job, maybe outside the job. That story should be constantly there. In every word what you say, you should be a good storyteller. If you are a good storyteller, you are in business. If you are not a good storyteller, I'm sorry, then you can, take a walk. So storytelling skills, your judgment skills, your curiosity skills are very, very important. More importantly, no AI, whatever comes, will not take away these skills. And your creativity, you should have your creativity on top. As long as you are able to make those judgments, those instinctive judgments, as long as you have those strong people capability, human touch skills, interpersonality skills, and you are a good communicator, I think nobody can take away. You will be your own unique. So people should develop a lot of hunger, passion towards what next. They should keep questioning. Okay, today I did this. I'm not happy. It's not like a 9 to 5 job, right? I mean, I hate doing that. I want to do a lot more things. That is why I spend time coming and meeting, because everywhere everybody has their own history.
Yep.
And everybody is their own superstar. So always I say one thing, right? When you first time you get up in the morning, just go to the mirror and say you are the superstar. I love you. You are the best, because your body doesn't know what is negative, positive. Even as a joke, they say don't speak negative, because your brain doesn't have the intelligence to differentiate the words. So always speak positive about you. Anything you do. There was this big experiment was done in 1930. There was two containers of water. One had written as "you fool." Another one was written "I love you." And they need to see the result of it at the end of the experiment. So one container where it was written "you fool," the result was very distorted. The images were not good. This thing. Where it was written "love you," it came with beautiful crystal balls. This is proved. So our body contains 70% water. So as long as we keep speaking high about ourselves, we'll always be successful, because universe is actually watching us. Any vibration which happens, it 100% works. So first is your vibration should be good, your thought should be good, you should feel good about yourself, and practice gratitude every day morning. Morning habits are very, very important. That is how the entire thing is. So everybody should have that hunger. I am the best. I am positive. God is with me. I am the inspiration. You are the only inspiration, not Rajnikant or nobody. They are all there taking their money. But there are relevant inspirations.
Correct.
Like, for example, Sujit. I would talk about Kumaravel, CKK, naturals. They all speak all relevant. So we pick up things where it can relate to us. Those are the things we learn. We see the Sachin Tendulkar, we see Sehwag.
Correct.
Sehwag is the biggest disruptor. Who had the audacity to go to Melbourne and score 195 on one day and still lose a test? That's only India can do. In 2003, I saw that and I was like, amazed. Look at this guy, phenomenal confidence. That is what it is. You have to be very, very confident and you have to be 100% sure. You have to always focus on one thing. Everybody says, right, we are all one skill away from excellence. It's a very true thing. As long as you practice your one skill 120%, by the time somebody reaches there, you will always be 10 steps ahead. That skill is where you are mastered. So you cannot be replaced even by anything. So you have to be irreplaceable in that one particular skill so that you become very good at it. That becomes your passion, that becomes your career, that becomes your profession. Then comes money, fame, everything. But it all starts from that action plus movement plus daily practice plus thought plus outcome equals result.
That's really awesome, and I think all of them are very valid and relevant. And I think there are some I think I can also exercise. Rajesh, thank you very much for being on this podcast and having this candid conversation with us, and looking forward to many more such. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you. My pleasure, Govind. Thank you so much.
All right, this is Rajesh with us, who is the global talent partner with Diligent, speaking about his all life cycle journey and also his experiences. And I think what I loved about it is the candid conversation on what he has gone through and what lessons he has for all of you. With that said, see you in the next one.